Welcome to studentstest.com. The topic is Mason's gain formula. To find transfer function of a complicated system of through block diagram is a complicated method. You can find out the transfer function of any system using Mason's gain formula very easily. So let's take a look at what is Mason's gain formula. Mason's gain formula is transfer function, which is output divided by input, is equal to summation of ith forward path into delta 1 divided by delta k. Now what is delta k? Delta k is 1 minus summation of loop gains plus summation of gain products of all possible two non-touching loops, and then again minus sum of gain products of all possible three non-touching loops, and it goes on. Take a look at the question now. I have taken this question from the book Control Systems by Samarjit Ghosh. This is a signal flow graph and we have to find out the transfer function. Now there are 7 steps to find out the transfer function of this question, and if you understand this one question, then you can understand any question which says that find out the transfer function through Mason's gain formula. So kindly be attentive and concentrate on this first question. Now we have 5 steps, and the step 1 will be forward path, finding out the forward path. How many forward paths we have? We have 2 forward paths. First forward path is G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, and the second forward path is G6. I have written them over here. The first forward path G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. Second forward path G6. So the step 1 is forward path, finding out the forward path. Now step 2 is finding out loops. Now how many loops we have over here? We have loop 1, loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, and loop 4. So we have 4 loops over here. So I have just drawn them over there. These are the 4 loops. Now we have to find out the loop gain of each loop individually. So the loop gain of loop number 1 is G2 into H minus H1 will give you minus G2 into H1. Loop gain of loop 2 will give you minus G4 into H2, and loop gain of loop 3 will give you minus G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, and H3, and the loop gain of loop 4 will give you minus G6 into H3. So step 2 is completed. You have to find out the loops and then loop gain of each loop. Now step 3 is finding out non-touching loops and 2 non-touching loops. Step 3 is finding out 2 non-touching loops. Now how many loops we have? We have totally 4 loops, and loop 1, 2, and 4 are non-touching. Why? Loop 1, 2, and 4 are non-touching. Let's see why. Now this is going directly into over here and is not touching. Loop 1, which is this one, is not touching, and this one is also not touching, but this one is touching. So we will consider loop 1, loop 2, and loop 4, and we will not consider this loop because it is touching all other 2 loops. Now we have to find out loop gains of 2 loops, of 2 non-touching loops. So first we will find out the loop gain of loop 1 and loop 2, then loop 1 and loop 4, and then loop 2 and loop 4 gains. Now what we have? Loop 1 gain. We have loop 1 gain minus G2 into H1, and loop 2 gain is minus G4 into H2. Simply find it and you will get G2, G4, H1, H2. Similarly, loop 1 and loop 4 gain, we have find out loop 1 gain previously and loop 4 gain previously, so we will just simplify them and it will be G2, G6, H1, and H3. Loop 2 gain and loop 4 gain. Loop 2 gain and loop 4 gain will give you G4, G6, H2, and H3. Now the step 4 is finding out non-touching loops, but 3 loops this time. Previously we have find out 2 non-touching loops. Now we have to find out non-touching loops 3. So simply loop 1, loop 2, and loop 4, because we only have 3 loops which are non-touching. So loop 1, loop 2, and loop 4, you will place loop 1 gain, loop 2 gain, and loop 4 gain, and simply simplify it. So you will get minus G2, G4, G6, H1, H2, H3. This is the loop gain of 3 non-touching loops. This is the loop gains of 2 non-touching loops. So these are the 4 steps which we have completed in this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I will explain you the rest of the 3 steps. Thank you very much for watching the video.